So I'm gonna take you back to when I was a wee lad, a wee little retard, little me, okay? And I think it's important to provide this context. I was a baseball nerd, okay? Because I guess the question would arise, like, well, what were you watching black and white stuff for? It doesn't make much sense. You were like 8. I was a baseball nerd. I was like a baseball historian. I still like baseball. I don't really watch it, but I was a baseball nerd at this time. I was a historian of baseball, specifically really old baseball. I love the Ken Burns documentary where it's all black and white footage, Babe Ruth, 1920s, late 1800s, all of this stuff. And I remember, I genuinely thought, because I was talking about this with my stepdad, my first stepdad, and it was, I was like, oh, it's crazy how the world got color at whatever time. When did color TVs come around? Like 1970s. Like, it's crazy how there was color at the time. It was like, okay. I was really young, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I look back, it's like I really thought the world was black and white. Like, not just TVs, but the world. Like if I looked at myself, if I was in the 1900s, early 1900s, and I just looked at my arm, I'm like, wow, I'm like this grayish color. That's what I thought, and I thought the world just gained color. It's really crazy, and it just tells you how you can really believe as a kid anything. You could believe anything as a kid, whether it be your own imagination or someone telling you something. You can believe anything. So I do think there's some value in this though, because when we get older, we're a bit more grounded into reality, which is a good thing, right? It has its benefits, but with everything that has benefits, there are some downsides, right? When you are so grounded in reality, quote unquote reality, and it's very hard to dream big. It's very hard to have big ideas because, like, well, you know, even like me, well, I want to start, this big personal brand. I want to impact a lot of people, this, that, and the third. The grounded mind is like, well, that's really unlikely. It's not really something people should do. People can't. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's really unlikely. Blah, blah. Meanwhile, you're a kid. You're like, yeah, let's do it. You're a kid. You want to be an astronaut. Well, I wanted to be a conductor because I like Thomas and Friends a lot. But the astronauts. Want to be a firefighter, a cop. All this. We have big ideas. We want to. I want to be a dinosaur. Like anything, anything. I want to be a chicken nugget. That reminds me of that Vine. But I do think there is some upside to this childlike imagination that allows you to think of anything. And so you need to have this balance, okay? You need to be in reality. You can't be delusional, but you also have to be able to think big, have this imagination, right? Don't lose the spark that children have because this is the life of a lot of people. They go through high school like, yeah, high school was so fun, but then afterwards they just lose the spark in their eye. They don't really enjoy life anymore. You don't want to be like that. You still want the spark. You still want to have fun in your life. Now, what's fun is subjective, right? But don't have your fun be determined by other people. Decide your destiny. Think with that childlike mind. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? What would you have said if you were a kid and you knew everything you know now? Right? You would choose the coolest thing you could think of. Meanwhile, if you think with the other mind, it's like, well, maybe have a job, maybe get an okay, maybe buy a new car after like 10 years of work. But while you're trying, like, well, I want a big house, I want a beautiful wife, this, that, and the third. It's more productive to think with that childlike mindset as opposed to this really watered down new mindset that people have. Or the mindset you gain when you get older because all your ideas have been punched out of your brain. I'm not sure how this, because I didn't come in here with a plan. I don't know how this morphed into, childlike imagination, a deep message, but there you go.